In the center of the galaxy, a giant hall made of dark metal floats around a dying star. It is called the Deathworld Summit. This is the place where the strongest alien empires meet. Only species who survive the most dangerous planets are allowed here. Places where storms cut mountains like knives, where air can kill anyone who breathes it, where life fights every second just to stay alive. No human had ever been invited before. Most aliens believed humans were weak, soft, and lucky to still exist. They said Earth was a comfort world, not a death world. But everything changed when a golden message arrived on Earth. A hologram appeared in front of the United Nations Council. A tall alien with silver skin spoke with a deep voice. Earth has been invited. Send your strongest, if you dare. The message ended. Silence filled the room. Many human leaders looked nervous. Some whispered fearfully, "What if we die there? What if they attack us? This is a trap." But one voice spoke with calm power, Captain Mira Holt. She was a diplomat soldier, smart, calm, and fearless. She had seen war. She had seen peace. She had seen what humans could become when they had no hope left, and still fought to survive. Mira stood up and said only 2 words, "We accept." Those words traveled across the galaxy, faster than light, and aliens burst into laughter. Humans think they can survive the death world? They will die in the first 5 minutes. Finally, a good show. But Mira did not care about their laughter. She already had a plan. The next morning, a shining ship stood ready on the launch platform near the Resolute. A ship built not for war, but for survival. Strong enough to face hell. Silent enough to pass through shadows. Mira's crew was small. 5 humans. Lieutenant Jones, the engineer who loved danger Dr. Aisha Khan, the scientist who believed in life Sergeant Lewis Grant, the protector of the team navigator Emma Lee, the star expert and Mira Holt, their leader before leaving. The world watched them on screens. "Show them who humans really are," a child shouted. Mira smiled and saluted. "We will." The ship rose into the sky, engines glowing like small suns, and soon Earth became a tiny blue dot behind them. Their journey was long. They crossed war zones, asteroid fields, and old battle scars in space. Alien fleets followed them, laughing through open channels. "Turn back, humans. The death world eats cowards alive. Your bones will melt there. We will enjoy watching you cry for help." But Mira never replied. She only whispered to herself, "They do not understand us. Not yet." At last, they reached the planet of the summit, a giant world filled with death. Lava seas boiled, toxic storms roared, and the ground cracked like a living creature. Even machines looked afraid to land. Alien ships, huge, dark, frightening, hovered above, waiting to see the humans fail. As the Resolute entered the atmosphere, fire surrounded their ship. The temperature inside climbed fast. Warning lights flashed red. Emma shouted, "The heat shield is failing." Jones tried to cool the system. "This planet wants to cook us." Mira stood calm and steady. "Hold your course. Don't fight the planet. Let it guide us." Louis stared at her, confused. "Guide us? It's trying to kill us." But Mira only looked out the window. Her calm smile returned, a smile that made no sense to anyone else. The ship suddenly stopped shaking. The fire around them disappeared. The storm split open like 2 black curtains, making a safe path only for them. Every alien ship watching the scene froze in shock. The human ship landed safely on the ground. The door opened. Heat rushed in, air thick like smoke. But when the humans stepped out, a strange thing happened. The ground cooled beneath their feet. The wind softened. The burning air cleared. Dr. Aisha touched the soil. "This planet, it's changing for us," Luis whispered. "How is that possible?" Alien voices on the channels filled with confusion and fear. What are they? Why is the planet protecting them? Mira looked at the deadly horizon, lava rivers glowing like blood, and whispered back, "We are home." They began walking toward the large summit building, a giant fortress made from black stone, surrounded by spiked towers. Thousands of alien eyes watched them, full of hatred and a little fear. As Mira walked, that same calm smile stayed on her face. The other humans followed her, trusting her completely, even if they didn't understand why. She was hiding a secret no one else knew. She looked up at the dark sky and whispered so quietly only the planet could hear, We built you long ago. You remember us, don't you? The ground shook lightly, like a heartbeat. Alien leaders stared in disbelief. Humans, the weak species, had walked into the deadliest world in the galaxy, and the world itself bent to protect them. No one laughed now. Something huge was starting. Something the galaxy did not expect, and Mira Holt knew. This was not a peaceful visit. This was the beginning of the unexpected war. The Death World was not a place for life. It was a planet that wanted everything dead. Its skies burned red and black, filled with acid clouds. Its oceans were boiling lakes of fire. Even the air shimmered like glass, sharp enough to cut skin. The ground breathed smoke and heat. No species could live here without armor thicker than a battleship. But humans had landed, and they were still standing. Every alien fleet in orbit stared at the hollow screens, waiting for the humans to fall. They expected to see their bodies melt, their lungs fail, their suits burn, but instead they saw something impossible. The humans walked calmly. The wind that should have torn them apart bent around them. The ground, which cracked under every other step, stayed solid under their boots. One alien commander hissed in disbelief. "The Death World rejects all life." "Except theirs?" Captain Mira Holt walked at the front, her face calm, eyes sharp. Her helmet scanner showed numbers rising fast, radiation, heat, toxins, but she didn't slow down. Her team followed, each step echoing on the quiet, trembling ground. "Captain," Dr. Aisha said, her voice shaky, "these readings are wrong. The heat outside should melt titanium, yet our suits are normal." Mira answered softly, "It's not wrong. It's listening." "Listening?" Sergeant Luis frowned. "To what?" Mira looked around at the moving dust, the slow rumble beneath their feet. "To us." The word spread through the team like a spark. The planet was listening. They reached the summit dome, a giant circle of black stone and glowing veins that pulsed like blood vessels. It was alive, breathing, watching. Every alien race had its own section inside. The massive reptilian cracks, the shadowy Vorn, the crystalline serene, and the fiery Arcanites. And now, for the first time, the humans. As Mira's team entered, the noise stopped. Thousands of alien eyes turned toward them. Whispers began. "Look, they survived." "Impossible. Maybe the Death World favors them." An Arcanite general leaned close to another alien and sneered. "No, they bring tricks and technology. They'll die like all the others soon enough." But deep down, even he looked uncertain. At the center of the dome stood the council platform, floating above molten rock. The summit master, a creature with wings of metal and a face like carved stone, spread his claws wide. "Welcome," he said in a deep voice that shook the walls. "You stand on the world of death. Only the strongest survive here. Show us your worth or be erased." Mira stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "We came to listen, to learn, to understand what makes this place so feared." The aliens laughed, cruel, echoing laughter that filled the hall. "Humans talk too much," one shouted. "They think this is a classroom," another mocked. The summit master raised a claw. The laughter stopped. He turned to Mira. "Then let us test your truth, human." He slammed his hand into the ground. The floor split open, revealing a deep pit glowing with red light. A low growl echoed from the darkness below. "Behold the trial beast," the master said. "It kills anything that breathes. If your species survives 1 minute, you may speak again." The ground shook. Out of the pit rose a creature of pure terror. A massive black form made of shifting scales, its eyes glowing blue like frozen stars. It had no clear shape, changing every second. Claws, tails, wings, smoke. It was a live energy, devouring everything it touched. Aliens cheered, eager for blood. "Let the humans taste death." Mira turned to her team. "Do not shoot. Do not move." Louise stared at her. "You can't be serious. That thing's—" "Trust me," she said quietly. The creature's roar filled the dome. It charged forward, melting the ground beneath its steps. Other delegations had fought it before, with weapons, shields, plasma cannons, and all had failed. But Mira stood still. She closed her eyes. The humans followed her lead, frozen, calm, breathing slow. The creature stopped. It tilted its massive head. For a long, silent moment, the galaxy held its breath. Then, the beast lowered itself to the ground and knelt. Gasps filled the hall. Some aliens screamed in disbelief. It obeys them? Impossible. Nothing tames the trial beast. Mira opened her eyes and stepped forward. The creature's glowing body dimmed to a soft blue like calm fire. She placed a hand on its rough surface. It didn't move, see? She whispered. It was never a monster. It was afraid. The hall was silent. Every alien looked at her as if seeing a ghost. The summit master's voice trembled for the first time. How did you do that? Mira looked up at him, her face unreadable. You call this the death world, she said. But maybe it's not a world of death. Maybe it's just waiting for someone who remembers what it really is. Later, when the summit ended for the day, alien leaders gathered in secret chambers. Humans are hiding something. One hissed. The planet bends. The next morning, the death world sky burned like liquid fire. The storms had calmed through the night, a sign that made every alien nervous. The planet had never slept peacefully before, but it did now, because the humans were still alive. In the high halls of the Death World Summit, alien voices echoed like thunder. Thousands of delegates gathered under the shining black dome. The air was thick with tension, fear, and disbelief. For the first time in the summit's long history, a new word spread among the galaxies: humans. Captain Mira Holt walked through the corridor of stone and glowing veins, her boots echoing softly. Her team followed behind her, Dr. Aisha, Luis, Jones, and Emma. Their faces showed pride but also confusion. Everyone whispered as they passed. Those are the ones who tamed the trial beast. No, that can't be true. The creature only kneels before the planet itself. Then what are they? The humans ignored the whispers. Mira's face stayed calm, her eyes cold and focused. Inside the main chamber, hundreds of alien leaders stood waiting. Towering forms, shifting lights, bodies made of crystal, flame, shadow, and metal. They looked down at the humans as if they were insects that somehow refused to die. At the top of the hall, on a raised platform, the summit master spread his metal wings. His voice shook the chamber. Yesterday you surprised us, he said. But one trick does not prove strength. The death world shows mercy to no one. Mira bowed her head slightly. We didn't come to prove strength, she said softly. We came to understand. A burst of laughter filled the room, harsh, cruel, echoing. Understand? Roared a tall alien covered in black armor. You come to the deadliest planet in the galaxy and you want to understand? Another alien with red skin and glowing eyes hissed, Humans are soft. They hide behind words. A third slammed a claw into the ground. You tamed the trial beast by luck. Nothing more. Mira looked up slowly. Her calm eyes met theirs. Luck, she repeated. Is that what you believe? The summit master raised his hand. Enough. We will know the truth today. The hall changed. The floor split open again, but this time not for one beast and for many. The air filled with screams and roars as cages rose from below. Dozens of creatures, some half fire, some made of stone, others invisible except for glowing eyes, filled the arena. This, said the summit master, is the test of worlds. Each species will face what they fear most. Only the strongest will survive. Humans, you begin. The aliens leaned forward, hungry for the show. Mira turned to her team. No weapons, she said quietly. Luis blinked. Again? Jones muttered. You sure we don't want to shoot something this time? Aisha smiled nervously. She always knows what she's doing. Mira stepped into the arena first. The creatures growled, their bodies shifting toward her, ready to attack. The ground trembled under their weight. Then, she knelt. One by one, the other humans followed her lead, knees on the ground, heads lowered, a moment of silence. Then the impossible happened again. The creatures froze. One by one, they backed away. Their forms began to fade. The flames cooled, the claws retracted, the eyes dimmed, until only mist remained. Within seconds, the monsters were gone. Gasps filled the chamber. What? What did they do? They didn't even fight. Is the death world protecting them? Mira stood. You call this the test of worlds, she said. But all these creatures are part of this planet. It doesn't want to kill us. It wants us to remember. The summit master's wings twitched in anger. Remember what? That we made it, Mira whispered. The chamber exploded in noise, shouting, disbelief, rage. Aliens screamed, lies. And humans twist truth. But one old alien, His skin like sand and eyes full of memory stared at her silently. After a long pause, he said, "You speak as if this world once belonged to you." Mira turned to him. Maybe it did. That night after the summit ended, chaos spread across the galaxy's communication networks. Alien news channels argued about what happened. Some said the humans cheated. Others claimed they had ancient control over the Death World. In the private chambers of the powerful empires, secret meetings began. We cannot allow them to rise. The Death World listens to them. That makes them dangerous. If humans remember their old power, the balance of the galaxy will break. Meanwhile, deep under the surface of the planet, ancient systems began to glow, lines of forgotten human technology waking up after thousands of years. Mira stood outside on a cliff, wind blowing around her. The sky was black, filled with red lightning that never touched her. Luis walked up beside her. "Captain," he said quietly, "what really is this place?" Mira looked out into the burning horizon. "A grave," she said. "And a memory. What kind of memory?" She turned her head slightly, her eyes reflecting the storm. "Of what humans once were." Lightning flashed again, and for a second the clouds above them formed a giant shape. It looked like a human face carved in fire, watching the world below. Luis saw it too. His voice trembled. "Captain, did you see that?" Mira only nodded. "The planet remembers," she whispered. "And soon? The galaxy will too." Far above, in orbit, alien ships began to move. Silent fleets turning their weapons toward the surface. They had decided if the Death World favored the humans, then they would destroy it. And humanity with it. But the planet's core was already awake. And something ancient, something built by humans long ago, and was rising from the deep. The aliens thought they ruled the Death World. Summit, they were wrong. The Death World had just chosen a side. The Death World was changing. Its storms were weaker now. The lava rivers slowed, glowing softly instead of raging like fire. The sky, once filled with acid clouds, now shimmered with faint light, almost peaceful. But peace on a world like this meant only one thing. Something powerful was waking up. The morning after the test of worlds, the summit was silent. Alien delegates whispered in fear, not pride. Every race had seen it. The monsters had obeyed humans. The summit master called a secret meeting, his metallic wings folded tight. "They control something ancient," he growled. "Something buried deep beneath this planet. We must find it before they do." Other alien leaders agreed. If the Death World remembers them, it might obey them completely. "And if it does," another hissed, "we lose the galaxy." But far below their feet, Captain Mira Holt and her team were already moving. Mira led her team through black tunnels glowing faint blue, following strange symbols that had appeared on their scanners. The ground pulsed beneath them, like a living heartbeat guiding the way. Dr. Aisha ran her hand across a wall. "Captain, this isn't rock. It's metal." Covered in dust, Mira nodded. "It's old, very old." "Keep scanning." Luis walked behind them, his weapon ready. "I don't like this." "The deeper we go, the quieter it gets." "Exactly," said Mira. "The planet wants us to hear something else." The tunnel opened into a massive chamber, larger than any ship hangar they had seen. In the middle stood a huge round door sealed shut. Symbols glowed faintly on its surface, and every one of them was written in ancient human language. Emma gasped. "Captain, those are Earth markings. Pre-colonial script? How can they be here?" Mira stepped closer, her voice quiet but steady. "Because this world wasn't alien." She placed her hand on the door. "It was one of ours." As her hand touched the cold surface, the symbols began to glow brighter. The door vibrated, dust falling from its edges. The others stepped back. "Captain, what's happening?" Aisha shouted. Mira didn't move. "It's recognizing us." The ground trembled. A deep, slow hum echoed through the chamber. The door slid open, revealing a dark spiral staircase leading down into light. The humans looked at one another. Then Mira said softly, "We go together." They descended for what felt like hours. The deeper they went, the louder the hum became, like a machine waking from a long sleep. At the bottom, they entered a vast hall filled with floating machines, lights, and holograms still running after thousands of years. It was a human facility, hidden inside the Death World. Jones stared in disbelief. "We built this?" Aisha looked at a screen showing old records. "Date reads 12,000 years ago. Louise frowned. That's impossible. Humans didn't even have spaceflight back then. Mira shook her head slowly. Maybe our history is wrong. She activated the console. A hologram flickered to life. An image of an old human scientist speaking in a broken voice. If you are seeing this, then humanity has returned. We built this planet to test life itself, to learn how to survive anything. But something went wrong. The planet became alive. Too alive. We had to leave it behind. The hologram glitched, then continued. If you found this place, then the death world still remembers us. Take control before the others do. The galaxy must never know what sleeps beneath. The message ended. Silence filled the room. Mira's face turned pale but strong. This isn't a death world, she said slowly. It's a human world, a forgotten experiment. Above the surface, the alien council was watching the human ship through scanners. One of their observers shouted, "They've gone underground!" The summit master's wings flared wide. They are awakening the old power. Stop them before the planet chooses them fully. He ordered his fleets to prepare bombardment. Burn the surface if you must. Let no trace of them remain. Deep underground, the humans didn't know what was coming. They continued exploring, stepping into a central core chamber filled with glass tubes and glowing lights. Inside one of the tubes floated a massive blue crystal, pulsing with energy. Aisha's scanner beeped wildly. This cries. Above the burning sky of the death world, fleets from dozens of alien empires gathered like storm clouds. Their weapons glowed, their ships stretched across the horizon, blocking the stars. At the center of it all, the summit master's voice echoed through every channel. Destroy the humans. Leave nothing alive. His cold, metallic eyes stared down at the planet. He believed he was saving the galaxy. He had no idea he was about to start something far worse. Deep underground, Captain Mira Holt stood inside the glowing chamber. The huge blue crystal, the heart of the death world, pulsed like a living sun. Every beat sent waves of light through the walls, through the ground, through space itself. Mira's team stood in awe. Dr. Aisha's voice trembled. Captain, this thing isn't a weapon, it's alive. Mira nodded slowly. Yes, and it remembers us. The hologram of the old human scientist flickered again on the nearby console. His voice was faint and broken. If you are human. And the heart responds, be careful. The planet can love you or it can destroy you. The message ended. Silence filled the chamber. Then Mira spoke, her voice steady. It already chose. The sky above cracked open as alien weapons fired. Red energy beams streaked through the clouds, tearing into the planet's surface. Explosions flashed like suns. On the human ship Resolute, orbiting near the surface, the crew shouted warnings. Multiple impacts. Shields failing. We can't fight back, Captain. There are too many of them. Mira's voice came through the comms, calm but strong. Hold position. Don't return fire. Captain, they'll destroy us, shouted Lieutenant Vega. Not yet, Mira replied. Wait for the signal. Her words confused everyone. What signal? On the surface, the death world began to move. Mountains shifted. Lava rivers flowed backward. Storms gathered into one massive spiral that reached into space. The planet was waking up. Alien admirals shouted in panic. The gravity is changing. Engines aren't responding. Another screamed. The atmosphere is alive. It's eating through our hulls. The summit master watched as his ship started to fall out of formation. Stabilize. Stabilize now, he roared. But it was useless. The planet was angry. Underground, the humans could feel it too. The chamber shook violently, dust raining from above. The crystal pulsed faster like a heart under pressure. Aisha gripped a console. Captain, the planet's energy is rising. It's unstable. Mira stepped forward and touched the crystal again. The energy around her flared brighter, wrapping her in light. Captain, stop, Louise shouted. It'll kill you. But Mira's voice came out clear and powerful, echoing through the room. It's not trying to kill us. It's trying to protect us. Her heartbeat synced with the glowing core. The walls began to shift, forming new symbols. English letters appeared among alien ones. Then a deep voice filled the chamber. The same voice that shook space before. Child of Earth. You have returned. Mira looked up into the blinding light. Yes, and they're trying to destroy you. They fear what they do not understand. The crystal glowed brighter and Mira whispered, then let them see. Above the surface, the storms exploded outward. Massive lightning bolts struck the alien fleets, cutting through shields like glass. Ships spun out of control, crashing into each other. In every cockpit, alien pilots screamed as systems failed. The planet's atmosphere is jamming our energy signatures. We can't aim. We can't even move. The summit master slammed his clawed hand on the console. Fools, fire everything. Thousands of weapons fired at once. Red energy filled the sky, then vanished. The planet absorbed the blasts. The Death World turned their own energy back. From the ground, pillars of blue light shot upward, piercing through alien ships one by one. The entire sky became a storm of light. Inside the chamber, Mira fell to her knees, her hands still glowing. The planet's energy was too strong. Emma rushed to her side. Captain, you have to stop. You'll burn yourself out. Mira looked up weakly. Not yet. It's not finished. The voice of the planet spoke again, deeper and calmer now. They seek destruction. You seek balance. What shall be done, child of Earth? Mira hesitated, breathing hard. Then she whispered, Show them what humanity learned. The crystal's pulse slowed, then steadied. Above, the Death World's light spread across the entire sky. Alien ships suddenly froze in midair. Gravity itself stopped pulling. Time seemed to pause. Every alien aboard their ships could see visions in their minds, not of war, but of human history. They saw Earth's oceans, mountains, children laughing, people rebuilding after disasters. They saw humanity's pain and hope, and in those final seconds of silence, the entire galaxy realized the truth. Humans didn't survive harsh worlds because they were stronger. They survived because they never gave up. Then the vision ended. The light vanished. Alien ships crashed down one by one, powerless. The Death World calmed again, its sky glowing faint blue. The Summit Master's flagship spun uncontrollably, crashing into a molten canyon. He crawled from the wreck, his wings torn. He looked up at the peaceful sky and whispered, They tamed it. In the chamber below, Mira collapsed. The crystal's glow softened, wrapping her in warmth instead of pain. Her team surrounded her. Aisha checked her pulse. She's alive. Barely. Mira opened her eyes slowly. Status? Louise smiled weakly. The alien fleets are gone. You did it, Captain. Mira shook her head softly. No, we didn't do it. The planet did. A faint rumble echoed above them, not from war, but from the world breathing again. She looked at the glowing core one last time and whispered, Thank you. The crystal pulsed once as if answering her. Far above, the surviving alien ships floated in silence. No one dared move. In the distance, Earth's ship Resolute rose from the clouds, glowing faintly in the planet's blue light. Every alien fleet opened communication channels, expecting a declaration of victory, but Mira's voice came through instead, calm, cold, and final. This is Captain Mira Holt of Earth. The Death World has chosen. You called us weak. You called us fragile. But remember this, we survived the impossible, and now, so will our world. Her words echoed through the galaxy, and somewhere deep in space the alien empires trembled, because they knew the summit wasn't over. It was just the beginning. The fires above the Death World finally faded. The sky, once red and violent, now shone in quiet blue light. Smoke drifted across broken mountains, and the ground pulsed like a slow, living heartbeat. Every alien fleet was silent. The war was over, and the humans were still standing. Inside the underground chamber, Captain Mira Holt opened her eyes again. Her body felt weak, but her spirit burned strong. Around her, her team worked fast, scanning, repairing, breathing heavy but alive. Status? Mira whispered. Dr. Aisha smiled faintly. The storm's gone. The core is stable. The Death World is peaceful. Mira nodded slowly. Then it worked. She rose to her feet and looked up at the glowing crystal, the planet's heart. It pulsed softly like it was resting after a long battle. For the first time, Mira felt it not as a weapon, but as a friend. The Death World had awakened, and it had chosen Earth. Above the surface, alien survivors crawled from their broken ships. The once proud generals and warlords of the galaxy now stood in silence. Their armor cracked. Their ships melted into the ground. They looked toward the human ship Resolute, still standing tall, surrounded by a calm blue light. How? Whispered a wounded alien admiral. How did they do it? That world should have killed them, another answered quietly. Because it wanted to. The Death World had destroyed every invader but protected the humans. The message was clear. Humanity belonged here. Hours later, the humans gathered at the summit hall, the same hall where alien leaders once mocked them. Now it stood half destroyed, its towers bent, its banners torn by the planet's rage. One by one, alien leaders limped in, ashamed, defeated, afraid. None dared look Mira in the eyes. When she entered the hall, the air itself seemed to change. The blue light followed her, shining softly through the cracks in the floor. The Summit Master, wounded and trembling, stood before her. His metallic armor was broken, his wings scorched. Yet his pride still flickered. He glared at Mira. "You brought ruin upon us all. The summit is dead because of you." Mira stopped in front of him. Her voice was calm, but there was steel in it. "No, the old summit died because of arrogance. A new one begins now." The alien's eyes narrowed. "A new summit? You think the galaxy will follow humans?" Mira stepped closer until the blue light touched both of them. "Not follow us. Learn from us." The hall grew silent. Mira looked at all of them, the leaders of hundreds of worlds, now standing broken before her. She spoke not as a soldier, but as a human. "You called this the Death World Summit," she said, "a place for the strongest to prove who can survive. But you forgot something important." She pointed toward the cracked ceiling where light from the sky poured in. "Strength isn't about killing. It's about enduring, about protecting, about changing when you must." Her voice echoed across the chamber. "When your weapons failed, we didn't fire back. When your world tried to kill us, we listened. That's how humans survived their own world. That's how we built peace from chaos." The aliens listened, silent, their eyes wide. Mira continued, "If this summit means anything, let it mean this: that every species who walks into this hall chooses not to destroy, but to build." She looked at the Summit Master one last time, or walk away and face extinction. "Because the galaxy is changing, with or without you." A long silence followed. "The Summit Master, Lou,"